Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the final day of racing in week 2 of RTG. And we're here at the mighty Spa-Francorchamps, of course, in Belgium for the Belgian Grand Prix. And we've got one driver already out on the circuit. And that circuit is 7 kilometres and 4.349 miles in length. It's got 2 DRS zones. It's the longest track on the circuit as well. It's got 19 corners, all starting at the source, and you've got big corners like you have here, Lake Calm after the Camel Straight, all the way to the bus stop chicane at turns 18 and 19. Matthew is sitting pretty at the top of the standings right now, of course winning last week, winning the sprint as well, the sprint format event last Thursday, and he is sitting on top with 37 points. Got Paul Jones in second, he's got the fastest lap as well. And actually, apologies, I think Paul Jones won last week, and Shuckle is in third in the championship. Pippo is fourth, fifth is Chuck. Aston Martin on 54 points, Alfa Romeo on 35, Mercedes on 27. So, you would normally hear me say good evening to Lee, but unfortunately he's not feeling too well this evening, so it's just me on my lonesome this evening, riding solo as we see Racing Matt make his way around the final corner, taking a wide line to get the car straightened up as early as possible and get on the power. So good evening, good evening. Anyway, as Benson's just done, please tell me in the comments that there's no Lee this evening, so it'd be all the better to be reacting to you guys watching along who isn't racing this evening, as Taylor Danny now goes into turn 1 at Les Sources, and now just turns slightly right-handed before going left through Eau Rouge and up this mighty corner to Radion, and now down the Camel Straight to the DRS down here. He's going to go to over 200 miles an hour. And we hit the brakes. As we finish the Le Combe chicane, we go down to Brussels, and then it's the only corner that has no name, but now subsequently is its name, No Name Corner, as we now go through another mighty corner on the circuit film, which Taylor Danny looked like he was taking rather cautiously in his first lap here. And of course, see that we've got 20 drivers this evening, and I think it's a full grid of full-time drivers this evening, no reserves, so it's going to look like we saw it as well on Monday, so better training as we've had for a few weeks actually, and it was paying off at the end of last season as well, so a much better week this week. Had a fantastic race on Monday, had a very good race on Wednesday, so this race has high expectations after week 2's previous events. So Racing Matt goes fastest, of course, being the only driver setting a lap with a 143.361, a 143.215 for Taylor Danny, who picks him by about a tenth and a half. So Royal Rumble now making his way through the bus stop chicane, the next driver to set a lap, and he goes fastest with a 143.1. The pole time last season what's this quite? Is that a little bit better? My mic wasn't as close to my face as maybe it should have been. Yeah, Royal Rumble goes fastest there with a 143.112. And the pole time for last season, and that was in the Wednesday tier, it was their 4th round, and that was set by Matthew, who is here this evening. Their Prodigy is now set the fastest lap. He got pole for the sprint last week. If the defender sets a time and goes fourth fastest. So the best time from season 12's round 4 in the Wednesday tier was a 141.445, and that was for Matthew. So some drivers just setting on their way. They're all kind of close together. I'm not sure which one the first one is, so apologies if I don't get it right. Matthew Jones has just made his way out of the pit lane. We've got Paul Bowden, Danny on an out lap, Lee Vans on a lap, and Kieran. Kieran the one furthest along. No, actually, I think it might be Alfie, I believe. So as we're now about to see Alfie cross the line, he goes fifth fastest with a 1:43.361. Danny crossed his line to start his lap. Perm Bowden would have been up next, but he's invalidated his lap time. And he is deciding to go again. And someone's just putting a lap time there, it looked like. Looney Man with a 1:43.244. So we're a little bit of a way off from the pole time, but of course only being in Q1. That is to be expected as Matthew makes his way through the second part of Stavelot. And now coming up to turn 17, Blanchimont, which is this fast left-hander. And then we move to the left-hand side to hit the brakes for the bus stop chicane. Not a bus stop anymore, but kept its name. And now makes his way to the line. He's trying to stay as right as possible, but doesn't. And Matthew goes provisionally first for Q1. Not too sure whether my mic's good enough or not. I'm having controversial topics going on. So Looney Man set a lap. Got Matthew Jones who's on a lap right now. Perm Bowden again setting a lap time. But I think Danny is going to be up first into turn 18 and dives into the pit lane. Hasn't invalidated. Right, 1 second then, lads. Is that any better? Out of interest? Thanks for the shout out, so for the mic, appreciated. So apologies for scrolling through so much. RTG Lee up next has the other Alfa Romeo ahead of him. I wonder if he was giving him a bit of a slipstream there as we go through the right left. Very slow corners on this fast circuit. Right, hopefully that's better. I've also turned my mic up a bit and changed the audio around, so that hopefully is a bit better. The cars are quite loud on this game, though, I do have to admit. As Paul Jones makes his way into Les Combes. As he exits, we've had another driver set a lap time there. I feel like that could have been, yes, it was Chuck. And he is now up in third place with a 142.7. Still a little way off Matthews, decides to retire early on. So what do we think then, gents, watching along? Is Matthew going to stay in that position throughout all qualifying sessions, and more importantly the final one, like he did in season 12 at round 4? Or is someone else going to get it? I feel like John is going to obviously be a little bit biased in this question, as Paul Jones makes his way up towards the final 2 corners. As you rise uphill a little bit, you go into the right-hander, it keeps on going uphill through the left, it sort of flattens out towards the line, and it was a flat-out lap from Paul Jones with a 142.3, only a tenth off Matthew, so he's looking comfortable as well. We've just got over 5 minutes to go in this first qualifying session. As Coit's Gamer goes into Les Combes, which is, of course, turn 5, 6 and 7, and then down to Brussels, which he's lifted off and he's backed out now. And Williams going very, very slowly. I think that may have been Pippet Kennedy. It was Pippet Kennedy there. 66 Williams. Yeah, I thought, Marcus, you raced on a Thursday actually, but maybe not. Obviously not. I think we have a full grid of full-time drivers this evening. But yeah, I've been certainly so excited for Thursdays. Nothing against Wednesdays, but how Thursdays ended last season looked really promising for this. Okay. Have you done that race yet, or is it about to start? As Queeks comes around the final corner, he'll be about to start another lap after failing out at the exit of Les Combes, turn 7. As Danny goes through Foray, and he now goes through Stavelo 1 and then Stavelo 2. Okay, so a little bit of time. What are we on now? 8:30. So we've got 15 minutes. 15 minutes of waiting, so you're going to be able to see a bit of Q2. Is it short qualifying or full qualifying? And which track have you got tonight, Marcus? As Danny makes his way around the final corner, what's he going to achieve? 14th fastest and a 143.376. So Coix obviously now on a better lap. Silverstone, very jealous. But it should be a good race. It's always a good race at Silverstone. I'm not being biased, I am being biased. As Coix now gone through the second part of Stavelo on his way to Longchamp. I think his short a line as possible, his minimal steering angle as possible as he goes through the final 2 corners, gets to the right hand side, stays to the right hand side, into the shadow we go, over the line, 4th fastest, 142.572. with just over 2 minutes remaining. Of course, everyone now needs to be out on track who think they're going to improve. Was that the Alpine there of Alfie? I think he's called that a bit tight. He's going to have to do a very fast outlap if that was him. It was him. So he definitely needs to come out. Prof just started a lap by the looks of things as he makes his way to the end of Sector 1, which has one braking zone in it. All the way flat from the bottom of Les Sources right to the top of Les Com, which is over a mile in length, which your right foot is just flat to the floor and hopefully no hesitation. Sorry about that. And so now we've got around 40 seconds to go. Pernboden's out, Danny's out. We are only going to see 3 drivers now be eliminated. 2 of them are now set in stone. 1 set in stone is where he's going to start, and that's last place for Pernboden. And Danny will try and hope he will hold on now to 18th place as Prof has just started his lap. Alfie had about 15 seconds to go, so he came out at the very last second. Couldn't really leave it any longer than he did, and he starts the lap as well. The Pretender is out on track. The driver that won Driver of the Season in Season 12 is in the pits in 13th place. Bugatti must be worried here. He could potentially go out here, but of course Spa being one of those circuits where you can overtake, it is somewhat possible. Racing Matt going slowly for some reason, and that will mean he's out as well, so he's going to be starting 17th or at worst 18th. As Danny's now left the session, he probably will rejoin us shortly, just going away whilst that's going on. Kieran going slowly as well. So Prof, the only man that can save himself. So Bugatti is now safe. The Pretender could be dropped down. I think he could be dropped down 2 places actually. You see Prof now into Sector 3. He's half a tenth up on his lap time. He's done the exact same time as Alfie in 15th. So if he does that, it will drop Alfie down to 16th, sorry, but he's 3/10 up on his lap. We'll have to wait and see. Is he going to be able to beat, which is also a very, very close time, the Pretender, because the Pretender could still be out here as he goes across the line, goes 14th, and the Pretender is now in danger as he's just finished his lap and he wasn't able to improve. And Alfie now making his way to the line. Looks like he's going to get through, and he doesn't. Oh no, sorry, he does. He does get through. He goes up to 7th. That was a bit of a delay. And the Pretender are out. Both Ferraris are out in Q1. So that's the end of Q1. Matthew got through fastest. Paul Jones was second. Chuckle was third. Coix Gamer was fourth. Fifth was Prodigy. Pippo Kennedy was sixth. Alfie was seventh. Chuck was eighth. Royal Rumble was ninth. Lee was 10th. Matty Jones was 11th. 12th was Taylor Danny. 13th was Looney Man. 14th was Bugatti. Prof was 15th and the last one to get through into Q2. The drivers who are out the session are the Pretender in 16th. 17th was Racing Matt. 18th was Danny. Kieran was 19th, and Perm Bowden is starting 20th and last. So, as we go through into Q2, of course, we now have the next bottom five that are going to drop out at the end of this session, and then we'll have the fight for pole in the top 10 shootout. We'll wait to see who comes out first. Waiting just a little bit of time. It's not really a track where you want to wait too much, actually. Just, as I said, the longest track on the circuit, the longest lap time as well. As you can see, like low 140s, which is about 7 or 8 seconds longer than any other circuit, I think. And who have we got coming out first? We don't truly know. I think it's a McLaren, so it would be Looney Man who's out first. His teammate dropped out in Q1. We'll see what he can do. Matthew also out early on. His teammate Chuck, who seems like Aston Martin could be quite a strong pairing for this season. The same with Red Bull as well, of course. Oh. Apologies for that. I've just been kicked for the session for some reason. We're still live, I believe. We'll just try and join back to the session. Yeah, apologies for that, guys. Hopefully we'll just be able to get straight back in. Yeah, looks like the case. And we'll get back in, hopefully before anyone starts a lap, so we don't actually miss any real action, just see miss a couple of cars going around on the circuit. So still only got drivers on out laps. So as we go back to Looney Man, he is just about to start his first lap, currently in 10th position. He decides to come in. Not sure why that he would want to do that, to be honest. Who is next after that? It's Taylor Danny in the Williams. He's about to start his first lap, start the first lap of Q2. Getting on the brakes as late as possible there for race source, but also want the best exit as possible, because as I said, your right foot is stuck flat to the floor for quite a long time as we go up about 40 metres into the air and up to the top of Radion. Before we go down this Cameron Straight, and with the DRS open, we're hitting about 215 miles an hour. Drivers needing or wanting as little downforce as possible here. We've got this tricky middle sector that requires a bit of that downforce just to get the grip into the corners, which he struggled with in Brussels. Through no name corner, going quite fast there. See how committed he is through. Who on quite committed, got right to the curb there. Couldn't have gone any further across. Time that to absolute perfection on the mid corner, the most important part of the corner, I think, to get right. Ooh. As we go up towards Longchamp, still again flat to the floor, all the way down to the bus stop. After we get out of the first part of this is the first time I made a mistake this evening. First part of Stavolo. So it's a 143.2. We saw drivers in a low 142 last session. And we should have another driver follow shortly. It's Paul Jones going provisionally first in Q2, quickly pipped by Prodigy, going faster, I think, than his fastest time in Q1. Chuck crosses line with 143.4, 43.1 as well for the other Williams, both right next to each other as it stands, third and fourth. And just times coming in really rather quickly. Queeks Gaming going sixth fastest. I'm assuming, I believe we are. We had a little glitch. I'm assuming we're all still live, are we? If just someone could put a comment in just to make sure, that would be appreciated. Looney Man now starts his first attempt in Q2. Up and over the crest of Radion, and now a long wait to hit the brakes here at the Comet. About the 50-metre ball break quite late here. Want to keep the apex speed up all the way through, further the throttle through here, full throttle at the apex. And now we go into Brussels. And welcome to you guys watching along. Got Matthew just about to start a lap, but we're with Looney Man, who is attempting to finish his first lap. Doing rather nicely so far as he makes his way into the end of the second section, the 1:15.151 at the end of the second sector. Just bear with me, guys. I'm just going to... Oh. Sorry, I was just checking that the stream was still live. I was just trying to multitask and put the thumbnail on the video, but it's not coming up on YouTube Studios, which is quite strange. Yeah, Looney Man setting a time of 1:43.748. Apologies, you should stay with him till the very end. We'll stay with it with Alfie till the very end. However, keep our full focus on the Alpine driver, so he keeps his full focus of the apex of turn 18 as he gets to it now. It does very nicely. It was undramatic, but it looked clean and tidy as he goes ninth fastest for now with a 1:43.604. The pole sitter last time we were here, the driver that was top of the standings in Q1, is he going to make it two in a row? With 6.5 minutes to go, may have enough time to do one more lap. He gets a little out of shape at the first pass of the bus stop, gets it under wraps and gets a lap time worthy of fastest in Q2. But of course, just over 6 minutes to go. That could all change as Bugatti starts his first lap. Got through by the skin of his teeth last time. Hopefully he will be able to improve and potentially get into Q3, sorry, we're in Q2, into Q3, as this driver finished third in the championship last year and also hopes to improve on that result. So as we see an Aston Martin get out of the way, as Bugatti makes his way around 2-on, he's right on the limit there as well. As we now go into the final chicane, as we exit into the first part of Stavelot, did miss the apex, but got the line right for the exit of the first part. Pretty nicely through the second pass as well, as we now just focus towards the bus stop as we go through Blanchimont. Nice corner, but it's really it's not really rocket science to get you through Blanchimont. Apart from when you're overtaking, that's a completely different ballpark. As Bugatti goes 7th first, it's a lot of drivers in the low 143s. And then we've got a big old gap to the top two. Prof just finished his second section at 114.3. He was quite a long way up on what Taylor Danny had done at the start of this session. As the clock ticks down, Matthew retires once again. He's happy with what he's done. What's Prof going to do? He goes 4th fastest at 142.735 for the Mercedes driver. Got some very decent pace out of the car there, or out of himself, should I say, is Matty Jones making his way up towards Blanchimont. It's a wide line from the apex there, and now onto the brakes at turn 18. Through 19 he comes to the line, and he goes 6th. There was a driver just behind him, the Williams of Pippo Kennedy, who had set a lap just after him. He must have got a mega tow from the Red Bull driver as well, but now we have 6 drivers in the 142s, and only one driver yet to set a lap, our reigning champion Shuffle, as Taylor Danny starts his next attempt with just under 3 minutes left on the clock. This potentially could be his final attempt. With the fuel he's got on board, I expect that to be the case as we go through Ravion. Now seeing it go down to Russell's a really difficult off-camber corner there as well. You can have bag loads of understeer, and then like he's super committed through no-name corner. Too committed from Taylor Danny. If he backs out of it though, I think he's going to. I think he's got the fuel. I think he's got the battery. He will be able to go for another lap, and he's got lap time on the board to be able to do so. His Prodigy now gets into the 141s. Very decent time from him. Coix Gamer now does a 142.2. So these times now starting to tumble at the end of the session. Is he going to be able What is Chuck going to be able to produce here? He's going through the Fania chicane into Stavolo, only just down on his time, but he's going to have a mighty final sector to be able to do better than what he's done. Just struggling by the looks of things at this Spa circuit. It's all about that middle sector in qualifying, really, as long as you've got enough the minimum amount of downforce as you can feel comfortable with. And Chuck deciding to dive in. He wasn't up on his time, I believe, so that could be the end of his qualifying. Still got Chuckle yet to set a lap. He moves up to 7th, just ahead of his teammate Prof with the 1:42.7. And it looks like the high 142s are going to be the benchmark to beat. We've got just over 20 seconds left on the clock. Alfie starts the lap as well and sets off for the final time in Q2. But could it be the final time in qualifying for him? Apologies for that. Just had a bit of a coughing fit there. That was very nice. To see if we can get some nice laps in. Taylor Daly is going to be out in qualifying, along with Bugatti as well, who's seen the checkered flag. Chuck is in danger. Matty Jones, Matty Jones is in danger. Prof is also in danger as well. Those guys not safe just yet, and Chuck is going to be out. As who was that? Not too sure who that was. Was that just not Matty? Chuck out, sorry. Must have been Looney Man, and we'll wait to see the final two. It's Royal Rumble first, and then Alfie after that. We'll see what Royal Rumble can do. One Alpha Tauri out already in this session. Is it going to be two? Looks like it is. Royal Rumble is also going to be out. So Alfie, the only man that can save himself now. I mean, Matty Jones drops out. He does. Alfie is through to Q3. Drops Matty out in qualifying 2. So we're just waiting for Chuckle to get into the pits. And then we'll do the final order for Q2. Apologies, just realised my mic was on mute there. Prodigy was first, Paul Jones was second, third was Matty Jones, Chuck, Taylor Danny, Bugatti, and Royal Rumble all out in this session.
Mandated safety regulations that year. The event was eventually relocated and would not return to start until 1979.
So, as we get underway into Q3, we did have 12 minutes of the session, obviously less than that now, got 11.5 minutes left of the session as the first drivers come out of the garage. This is the one session where you really don't want to be racing around. When you get back to the pits, it's not long until you have to go back out again, and of course we might see most of these drivers going out in sort of a they'll all be quite synchronised here, to be fair, because the track is so long. I'm sure to see all the other cars starting to come out as well. Aston Martin and Matthew is going to be first. I'm assuming he's going to try a tactic of going first, then going last at the end. Kind of get the best of both worlds there. The track's not bedded in as much as it's going to be. Oh, sorry, I need to. Yes, Chuckle makes his way up the hill as well. So only two drivers now yet to get out of the pit lane. So the majority are going to be in sync. The first driver to settle that will be Matthew. And I think we'll stay with him for a minute or so. I tell you what, we'll do something a little bit different. We'll stay with Matthew for the whole race. Turn your TVs up like they do in real life, like F1, usually in practice, but turn your TVs up and we'll ride on board solely with Matthew for one whole lap. So as he comes to the line, what's he going to set? A 141.522. I wonder if anyone actually enjoyed that, just watching Matthew solely without any commentating, no graphics on the screen, just seeing what he could do in that Aston Martin. Probably going second fastest, just behind Matthew. Very close between those two. Pippa Kennedy going third with a 142.1. I think we'll have Paul Jones up next. Of course, he came first, last week, won the first round of the season in Austria. He's done that before as well. No, he didn't win it. It was Matthew who won last week. I think numbers game, it's a sprint. I said that earlier on, so apologies for the misquote. No, Matthew won, but he came second last week. Chuckle is sixth. For Chuckle. Pippa Kennedy is fifth. More drivers now getting into the 141s. It seems more than likely that was going to happen anyway, just with the track evolution.
This time, due to tobacco rules,
Not too long to go in this qualifying session. Now the driver is heading back to the pit lane. The two of them are still in the pits, potentially only doing one lap. Prof came out a bit later. Unsure whether his lap is a bit late to only do one lap, but maybe he wants to do the one lap out on his own with no one getting in his way. Looney Man just making his way out of the pit lane now, I believe. There he is, just at the pit exit. So he's also out, so it's only Lee yet to make his way out onto the circuit. And Alfie has retired. Not sure where he's retired actually. He's retired in the pits. I believe he might have actually. He might have retired in the pit. Prof now starts his lap as he's made his way through Les Sources. Now through Rouge. Up to Ravion. A little bit out of shape at the top of the hill there, so he didn't go right out to the curb on the right hand side, the line of least resistance. Makes his way into Lake Tom. Turns 5, 6 and 7 down to turn 8 Brussels. So inherently understeery this corner. That is a proper terminology, that is. As we go through no name corner. As Marcus and John both believed that Matthew would be on pole this evening. I've said a few times now that he was on pole last time we were here. Potentially looking like it's going that way, but Prodigy also very, very quick, and of course you can't count him out. Can't count out another couple of drivers as well. Chuckle, really, he can pull it out of the bag right at the end of the session. You all know that, especially on a Thursday where he really seems to thrive at the end of the midweek. As Prof comes through Blanchimont and into the final braking zone, final heavy braking zone of the lap. A lot of them around here. So much high speed running as well. It's a real mixture when we come to Spa. As he crosses the line, goes 7th with 142.8. So only Alfie, who's retired, is in the 143s at the moment. Looney Man is on a flying lap as well. And I think that's going to be Prof's one and only lap as well. I certainly think this may be Looney Man's one and only lap. Unless he's fueled up, which it doesn't look like is the case. Pippo Kennedy making his way out of the garage already. He wants to get on with it. I think we've got a Red Bull of Prodigy also coming out onto the circuit as well. They're all starting to come out quite early on here. And we give each other quite a bit of space as well. Sometimes we do see some queuing at the end of the lap when there is a bit of a chain reaction. As Looney Man makes his way towards the bus stop chicane. One of the most important sequences of corners on the lap itself. As he makes his way to the line, Leslie's going to put him 7th fastest with a 142.7. We don't normally see much of a field spread, but for some reason it has happened this time. Coitz is out of the pits now. I think he may be the last driver out of the pit lane. So we've only got Alfie in the pits as it stands. 6 drivers on out laps. Luckily they're all in formation. I think Pippo Kennedy's going to be first of these guys. Of course, Looney Man has just settled up. These come out as well for a one-time lap at the end. Really, I'm just trying to work out who's going to be first. Keep an eye on when the outlaps go out. So it'll be Pippa Kennedy up first. We've got the Red Bull of Prodigy after that. The Aston Martin and Matthew is going to be third. Mercedes of Chuckle next. He's got an Alfa Romeo quite close behind him. I wonder if that's kind of tactical from Lee. Paul Jones after that, and Quick Gamer will be last, waiting for the very last second to go. The sun starts to set here in Spa. It's definitely getting a little bit darker as we've got further on into the session. Prodigy doing a very good first sector. We'll see if Matthew can beat that. But of course, at the moment, it seems like these two are scrapping, fighting for the pole position as Pippa Kennedy is going to be up first. Prodigy will be after that. As he makes his way through the first part of Stavelot, the second part, the driver in 5th place at the moment. What lap time is he going to achieve, this leading man? And Prov now see the checkered flag. They can only watch on and see where they'll end up. And obviously, they'll be watching Pippo, who's going to be the first driver. Maybe watching the stream, so hopefully they are. Make sure you like the channel, guys, and see if we like this lap. Pippo Kennedy crosses the line, goes 4th fastest with 142 dead. Only 3 has got into the top 10 so far. Is this going to be a pole position for Prodigy? He does go on to provisional pole by a couple of tenths. Matthew is up next after that. He goes provisionally pole, beats his time from last time around. Where's RTG Lee? Ends up in 7th. Chuckle ended up 3rd, just ahead of him. And we've got 2 to go. Paul Jones goes 3rd fastest with a 141.6 dead. And now we wait for Coix, who has invalidated his lap time. He's going to start 6th. Matthew is on pole. And on pole, technically, for the second time this season. He was on pole for the race last week, but that was a sprint race. But technically, the stat would say he would be on pole for that. Or do we give him pole for that? It's his first true pole of the season. He beat his lap time from last season, which was a 141.445. He's quite a way ahead of that, improved by some margin indeed. So, yeah, pole position man, the Aston Martin. Prodigy is in 2nd. Paul Jones was 3rd. Chuckle was 4th. Pippa Kennedy was 5th. 6th was Queeks Gamer. RTG Lee was 7th. 8th was Looney Man. And Prof was 9th. Alfie was 10th. So, we're into the race session. As you can see, it's a damp start to the race. I didn't say it at the start, but I did somewhat think it. That it could potentially be raining this evening. So as we wait, everyone's on the intermediate tyres, so we don't really need to look at the tyre strategy at the moment. It's simple. They're all going on the intermediate tyre. Bear me a sec. So we're just waiting to start. I'm just keeping my eye on the start so I don't miss any of it. Whereas usually me and Lee we're talking, so sometimes we have to miss a tiny little bit right at the very start. So we're keeping an eye. We're waiting to see the start. Wet conditions, of course. It's going to be treacherous into turn one, so everyone's going to have to keep their eye on the braking zone and make sure that they keep it on the straight and narrow as we go through the source. And of course, it's going to be a more challenging, difficult, different corner, Eau Rouge and Radillon, than they've been used to for the last 45 minutes. So, as we get ready to get underway, we've got 5 red lights. And we are away for the second round of the season. And Matthew has got a terrible start there. Prodigy is now in the lead of the race. Is the Mercedes and the Alfa Romeo go side by side into turn one. But Paul ends up on top there as we now go down towards Eau Rouge. As we see a couple of drivers spin out at the back there. It's Kieran who's lost the entirety of his front wing. I'm not sure what happened there, but it hit a concrete wall and we have a virtual safety car deployed. Stabilises everything and we now wait until we can get back racing again as the drivers switching positions. Not sure who was in what position. That might have been because they were side by side right at the very start of the VSC. And we get back racing once again, really rather quickly actually, as Prodigy's almost got a second on Paul Jones. Matthew now down in 9th place. Yeah, just didn't get started for whatever reason and bogged down, or just didn't react to the lights quick enough. As Matty Jones switches places with Bugatti. He is down 1 place overall though. And as we go through the second part of Stabilo with the lead cars, Prodigy getting himself a 1.1 second advantage as of right now. And as we go on to the second lap, of course, we're not going to have DRS for this part of the race anyway, unless it starts to clear up. It might do potentially, but you never know. Here in Spa, there's a lot of cloud cover as it stands, and we've got Alfie trying to make up places there. Looked like he was going side by side with RTG Lee on the timing chart there. They got very close together within half a tenth as we go up Eau Rouge and Radillon. I'm sure drivers are having a little lift now through this corner. Go further back, see if we can see someone doing it. Turn Bowden. Towards the middle of the track there, yeah, slight lift through the mid part of the corner. Kieran having a front wing change, getting back out there. He's not retiring. He's going to carry on and hope for a safety car. I'm guessing is, well, I know that's what you are going to be hoping for in that situation, to be able to be caught up to the back of the pack. 1.3 seconds between the top two. Prodigy just eking out a little bit more time, not as much as she did before the VSC. Obviously got a very good start where Matthew got a bad one, now having a worse time of it as he gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And down in 9th place as it stands. Riding on board with Chuckle right now. If you go a bit further back, got this big queue of cars forming as Chuck is getting closer and closer to the back of Matthew here, now having, Prof. Matthew just ahead as Prodigy sets another fastest lap, a 1:43 53 dead. And then see that lap time improve a little bit more. Of course, still get the extra points in wet conditions for the fastest lap. And Danny there just getting past Royal Rumble. And Alfie getting closer to the back of RTG Lee, but looks like he's got a bit more straight line speed. All trying to use their batteries down the start-finish straight. Now Chuck gets past Prof into turn 5. Alfie getting closer and closer to the back of that Alfa Romeo, almost too close. Is now racing Matt, gets himself a 3-second time penalty. The Ferrari's down in 17th and 18th, obviously fell out in Q1, had a little bit of time to wait for the race itself. But Prodigy looking really rather comfortable now, still just eking out a bit more time, not making mistakes, not heavily DRS enabled. Ooh. Now that is interesting. Are we going to have another race with really interesting weather conditions? Very, very interesting indeed, that. Wow. And Prodigy coming into the pits. Paul Jones coming into the pits. Chuckle makes his way into the pits. A couple of them stay out. Looney Man and Pippo stay out. Of course, some of them would have to have double stacked. Lee stays out as well. And who is pit? So they look like dry tyres to me. That's what I thought it would be. There'd be no other reason really, unless they're going the other way. Hard tyres for Prodigy. Like he's thinking, going to the end, but is the grip level's just going to be too far off? Obviously, the tyre strat is now out the window. We've had a wet start as banged my elbow into my wheel there. Yeah, we've had a wet start now, so you could do a medium strategy now. It's highly possible. Soft softs if it would work, but obviously we've used those in qualifying, so that was dry. So the tyre options aren't available like they were yesterday. And Racing Matt getting himself out of shape. Prodigy squeezes on by there. That was so close between those two. Just keeping an interest. The top 8 still on the intermediate tyre. Danny just ahead of Prodigy. The rain has stopped, and it looks like we're going to go to dry conditions. So the rain didn't last too long. Mix things up a little bit for people. Most people have gone on to the medium tyre, and now it's looking like the dry tyre looking like the better tyre. So maybe they've come in at the very right and perfect moment. Prodigy looking quite strong on the hard tyre as well. He's not struggling finding grip. His Queeks Gamer as well gets past. And Looney Man and Lee switching places. They're about to go into the pits, the pair of them. Losing a bit of time to others as Prof comes in. They're all going to come in now as Prodigy stays out. It's going to surely get the lead back again. Paul Jones takes second. So where are these guys going to come out? Pippa Kennedy's going to be the first of them to come back out. Well, the track dried up so quickly there, ridiculously quickly, to be honest. It would never have dried up that fast, especially with all the clouds hanging over the circuit. Not enough sunlight to clear it out that quickly. Is now everyone on the dry compound. Kieran now just switching onto that dry compound in the pit lane, but as soon as the DRS was enabled, the top 8 all just dived into the pit lane straight away, even though the conditions were still damp. But as it's such a long circuit, by the sector 3, the track was pretty much bone dry, which is, as I said, silly, not realistic. It's something that needs to change about the game, I think. But anyway, spot on strategy. Cool. Paul Jones only 1.2 though, behind Prodigy. Chuckle is just behind him as well, within that DRS range. So we'll be keeping a close tabs on Paul Jones, but they probably want to work together to try and catch up to Prodigy. This is big train formed from Looney Man down to Prof, all of them having the DRS, probably all of them having quite decent battery as well. Lee not being one of them, and using what little he has left, knowing he has a driver like Matthew in his calibre to try and dispatch of Lee quite quickly, and is now using the overtake button, using the extra straight line speed he had. Even though they both had DRS, just looks like he has that better straight line advantage. Chuck moved up on Looney Man as well. And they're going to switch places on the 6th lap. So now Prodigy 1.1 in the lead. Are the mediums going to get to the end? I don't think so. They need to be getting past Prodigy if they want to fight with him for the race win. But what we saw yesterday, the tyre advantage when they went to the second set in Miami was ridiculous. We thought it was going to be a one stop, and it wasn't. And the drivers who went on softs towards the end just had a massive advantage. But they all said the mediums were a rubbish tyre to be on yesterday. You didn't really want to be touching it, to be honest. Yeah, so Prodigy now taking the fastest lap with a 146.9. Alfie goes in faster, 146.8. 145.9 for Chuck. Obviously these drivers further back have been in a big old DRS train, so their lap times could be going down, but there's a fine balance of them fighting as well, so using more lap time, obviously having these wheel battles with other drivers costs you a huge amount of time overall, so it's always good to get the overtake done as quickly as possible. As Matthew's trying here against Looney Man, moves up into 8th place. A couple of drivers getting time penalties there. Prodigy, I believe it's just one of them there, actually. Than he did before. Now he has a 3-second time penalty. Still got to try and find a way of not making as many mistakes as unfortunately sometimes he does. Has fantastic pace, but just trying to iron out those creases of mistakes is crucial for him. And now Paul Jones and Shackle getting closer and closer on the faster compound. That compound starting to work that little bit better as Alfie looks like he's round. going right off the circuit here. Not sure why. And yeah, maybe a bit of frustration from him there. Not sure why he wouldn't want to just to carry straight on. It's weird how he's let everyone through, but there you go. As the sun starts now coming out, as I said, all can change. It could rain again before we finish this race. As we go up Eau Rouge and Radion, Valvey for some reason retires in the pits after having such a fantastic race last week, and Paul Jones now trying to take the lead away. Chuckle making an art of going down the middle this week. Is he going to do it again? No, gets past one but not the other. But yes, it's been a fine art this week of going down the middle. Did it yesterday in Miami, he did it on Monday in Bahrain. Is he going to make it 3 in a row? He's had some cracking races this week, cracking tracks as well, and hopefully this will all start coming to a boil and really boiling over with fantastic overtakes and hopefully exciting ones as well. As Matty Jones trying to get a move down. Is he going to go around the outside here and try and make the move at the no-name corner? No, because the safety car has now been deployed. I wonder why that happened. Kieran has had his prayers answered by the racing gods here. He would have wanted this to happen, so he's going to be able to get back in the fight. Yes, he's at the back of the field still, but he's got more of an opportunity to get past cars instead of just trying to catch up with no one ahead of him, feeling like a time trial session. Prodigy now coming in as well, so another set of mediums I think would be the strong call here, because I think these guys could go to the end. Sorry about that. I was on mute for a while there. Haven't made that mistake today. Don't usually make it so often, but I did then. Lee now coming into the pits. On to the hard tyre, serving the time penalty, which was a bit of a double kick in the teeth, to be honest, with the time penalty after going on to the wrong set of tyre. Goes on to the hards. Maybe he didn't have a medium set to go on to, or doesn't trust it. But I'm assuming it will be on the way on lap 11 at about a half distance. Oh my. This man's not having a good afternoon. He really isn't. So we have quite a long sector 3 here. So we have a lot of time for Paul to back up the pack, obviously leading now. A very strong race last week. We're hoping for another good performance this weekend. Where he's sitting right now, he's looking very good. The majority of the field are on medium tyres. We got the safety car in this lap. We've had Chuck up 6 positions so far. Danny as well up 6. And keeping quite a fast pace actually before the safety car restart. Safety car of course is getting away, but still see it in the very distance before we get to the bus stop chicane. You can pretty much go from now. I think you probably always plan to go at the final corner, which is pretty much set in stone. I think he's gone already. Wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. He gets on the power round of the final corner, and we get back racing again on lap 11 as we dive in to Les Sources. Is anyone going to go for a sneaky move at this corner? No, the field is spread out enough that no one will be troubled into the first corner. And he's got a lot of time to make up now, as he was right in the midfield and now right down the bottom of the pack as we go down the Camel Straight. Looney Man looking quite fast in a straight line. The McLaren goes to the outside. He's got Matthew on the inside, who's been trying to make up places. He holds on to the 8th place, but for how much longer is Looney Man looking very quick in a straight line there without the DRS at his disposal. And I feel like it's really game on. Prodigy still got a penalty over his head, so he has to get up into lead and gets 3 seconds ahead of the other 3 drivers. And Matthew very close to the back of Looney Man. Looney Man must have gained the place on him there as they go out the second part of Stavelot. Matthew almost pushing the McLaren through turn 16 as we go up to Blanchimont. He goes up the inside, gets through and back pass, and now he's on the hunt for the other Aston Martin. I'm sure he's not going to let him go through. Matthew Jones retires. We're now down to 18 drivers. Matthew sets the fastest lap of the race, as well as making an overtake at one of the trickiest corners to make an overtake on this circuit. And arguably on the calendar, actually, but yeah, we've lost Matty. Not sure where we've lost Matty, but that's 2 retirements this week for the Red Bull man. Obviously the Mercedes man in Monday, he retired in both the races. As Chuckle, as we get into Les Combes, he's now taking the lead of the race. He said absolutely thrives in Thursday. Chuck as well, up 6 places right now. Not too far off the lead. You'd be able to see them in front. Prodigy gets himself another 3-second time penalty. I feel like he's starting to drop out of the race for the lead now, unless other drivers can get themselves time penalties. Obviously, you've got a long way to go. But yeah, another day of toils and struggles for the Red Bull driver, as well as his teammate being out this race. It's not what Red Bull would be wanting, but it might be wanting a decent overtake at the bus stop chicane. He looks to the inside, looks to the outside, has to slot back, maybe tried the switch back there, but had the door shut in by Koik's gamer, the Dutchman. As we go through turn 1, Prodigy making contact with the rear of that Haas. It may mean he loses DRS. No, he's just been able to stay within that margin. As we fly up the hill, Paul Jones looking to fight back on Chuckle, looking really racy, having the top end speed there to get past. Obviously coming second last season to this man Chuckle, and Matthew looks like he's moved up on Pippo Kennedy there. To go a bit further back, racing Matt. Thought about it, but it wasn't close enough. Paul Jones back into the lead. Matthew now got past the train, and he's got ground he needs to make up to these 4. You can just see him in the background there. But of course, he also has a 3-second time penalty, but it's not in as bad a shape as Prodigy right now with that 6-second time penalty. Just holding back at the moment. And the Pretender getting himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Down in 15th right now. And Prodigy again getting close to the back of Koik's. Both of them seem like they're having sort of equal traction. Through the final corner, and then turn 1. As you go up the hill, or as you go down into the compression actually of Erosion and up the hill of Radion, they're both going to have DRS. It's going to be quite a drag now towards Les Combes. Prodigy getting past for the time being. Looks like that's going to be the case for the corner entry and the corner exit, and he's up into 3rd right now. But if it stays like this at the end of the race, that's not where he will be finishing. I think he will be finishing just ahead of Matthew, I think, right now. Maybe or Pippa Kennedy might have him actually. So they're still quite close together. But of course, we're on lap 14 of 22. Long way to go. And Shuffle getting closer to the back of Pit now, seeing as he had a very good position, and he's about to lose that position to Chuckle around the outside of Fania. We don't see that every day, and he gets past. What a beautiful move from the Aston Martin driver. Really did have a license to thrill there as we go on towards Blanchimont, and Chuckle getting closer and closer to the back of that Alfa Romeo. Is he going to go for it into the bus stop? More than likely going to hold back and wait till the Kemmel Straight. As we get on the power out of Les Source and now make the run up towards Les Com. I'll try and keep an eye on the midfield for overtakes as well. It just seems like I just keep missing them slightly. So I'll try and keep a closer eye. And I say that as, oh, here we go, 3 wide again. Pippo Kennedy gets back past into 6th. How long? Looney Man on the outside. They make contact. He makes contact with another driver. They're not sure who it was. I think it was Chuck. I think he got away unscathed though. But Looney Man now down into 15th place. That was quite a tight one there. This is going to be tight between Chuck and Prof. Chuck up the inside there, and then Bugatti trying to get into the mix as well as we go into Pouon. Chuck off the circuit there. And I think he's giving the place back to Looney Man actually. He feels he didn't give him enough space there, and it's been quite sporting there, so fair play to him. Paul Jones getting closer again. These two not giving one iota, no love lost between these two so far as it goes in to the final corner. And out we go, and he still holds on to the lead, but I feel like these 4 are going to be scrapping for a long time to come, and potentially till the very end is Racing Matt. It gets past Bugatti down the start finish straight. Not often you see a move there, to be fair. You usually want to wait for this moment as Chuck retires in the pits, and Paul Jones getting past once again. Prodigy getting closer this time, almost too close, and he spins off, loses his front tyre. That could be a safety car, it could be a VSC. It's a safety car. It's a safety car. This is a crucial moment. Unfortunately for Prodigy, he's out, not getting points this evening. The top 3 surely going to pit now. Pit for the soft tyre. This could change everything. It's just a big reset for everyone, but there is a lot of people with time penalties. Time penalties that some drivers just can't serve. So a difficult situation. And this being the second safety car today. So surely everyone is now going to pit. There might be the odd one that gambles to stay out, but with the tyre difference that we've seen in F123 so far in this game, just a better option to pit, not take the risk of track position. They seem like they're all coming in. Is there anyone going to take the risk though of staying out? Points looks like he's past Chuckle. No, it's just because he's further down the pit lane. 5-second penalty for Prof for speeding in the pit lane. The top 3 stay the same. Paul Jones will lead the way under the safety car again as they all come in, and we're going to have about a sort of a 3 or 4 lap sprint till the end. Just bear me one moment. As now it's just a waiting game, really, for the restart. It should get underway really rather quickly. We'll probably have this lap and the next. We'll get going on lap 19. So we'll have lap 21 and 22 with DRS. This should be the last safety car or VSC of the race. We'll get too far into it now for anything more to happen. So as we wait to see, we've got, I'm just counting up the penalties, 3, 4, there's 8 drivers with penalties, so half the field have got penalties. We've had 4 drivers out so far. We're still on 16 as we're on lap 17. I don't believe it'll be in this lap. We'll go for an So just bear with me a second, guys. I'm just going to have a bit of a drink a second as we got one more lap. Apologies, just my voice is so good having Lee here, actually, because you can just have drinks with no one noticing, but it's much more difficult. But to be fair, on that note, watching in football the other day, don't watch it now and again. I do like my football, but I can take it or leave it when I'm watching an ordinary game. Much prefer my big games, really. Yeah, they don't talk constantly, to be fair. Even in Formula 1 sometimes it's a bit more intense. I feel like you need to talk a little bit more, but yeah. Anyway, me, Rabbit, and I'll be back in a minute or so as we've seen Bowden, Prof and RTG Lee enter the pits. Once again, Prof doing that, of course, to get rid of his time penalty, reset himself for the end of the race. So, the safety car should be coming in at the end of this lap. It should be telling us it's coming in at the end of this lap right about now. Just like magic, there you go. So I wonder if Paul will have the same idea as he did last time. He was quite quick down this back straight for a safety car restart. Looks like he's a bit slower than he was last time. Still, not going the slowest, trying to keep the temperature in the tyres. I wonder if he'll go at the same place. If he's going a bit slower, it gives you more options, but about now, he can go whenever he likes. I think he's going to go in about the same place as he did before. As he gets himself underway again now. And we're seeing Koik's Gamer getting a really good launch there and trying to look. He was trying to look to the inside, pop back to his left-hand side, going into turn 1, getting back on the racing line. Bowden moving down all the way to the back. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1, not sure why that is. As we go up, Eau Rouge and Radion with the drivers in the lead. Koik's Gamer getting himself a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there, going really quite far off the track. Chuckle, going up the inside of Paul Jones and gets past And now, again, up into the lead. These two have been switching places every other lap or so, ever since the original safety car around lap 9. A bit later than that it started, actually. It was about a lap 11 it started, but of course, including this lap, we've only got 4 laps to go. So these are crucial moments now. These are the most vital moments. Everyone on the same tyre. The top 2 not got a time penalty. They want to keep it that way. Everyone from 3rd to 6th, 4 drivers behind them, have all got time penalties. Someone like Bugatti could really profit from the drivers behind on time penalties. These drivers are going to be scrapping hard as well, because they're going to be fighting for places around them. It's most of them got 3-second time penalties. Matthew looking to the inside at Blanchimont. Still alongside, hasn't got the move done just yet. Gonna have the outside, gonna have to brake a lot later than Koik's Gamer. Goes from the outside to the inside, put a little bit of squeeze on the Dutchman, and he gets past one of the Monday commentators, getting a very good move done there. It started at Blanchimont and ended on the start of finish straight. And now, once again, off we go into the compression at a Rouge up the hill, blind as we get to the crest of the left-hander of Radion. No DRS just yet. I'm sure drivers are going to be wanting to save that battery for the final 2 laps, as Pippo Kennedy is looking up the inside here of the Haas of Koik's Gamer. Koik's has been able to hold on for now. Racing Matt making excellent progress in this race. It's just a shame that he's got a time penalty as well. But he started, I believe, in 16th, I think he started. The Pretender started in 17th, so we've got quite a few places. Obviously, we've got 17th now out of the race. That will go in history is where Prodigy finished. But really, if they can keep it on the track, keep it within track limits, the top 2 are the guys really fighting for the win now. I don't think Matthew has got the pace over the top 2 to get away by 3 seconds. Let's do 3 seconds. Yeah, let's just double check. So Racing Matt's got 6 seconds. Bugatti now getting himself a 3-second time penalty. He was in a fantastic position if he could have stayed away from having another time penalty. The Prof is out. I don't believe that's going to be another safety car. I think we're too far on in the race now. Everyone now knowing the DRS is going to be enabled. We're not going to get a safety car. We've got 15 drivers left with these final 2 laps. We're on lap 21 of 22. And the rain is starting to come down again, ladies and gentlemen. It started at the very start of the race, and it's ending the race with rain as well. As I said, it can change all the time here. So the adrenaline, the concentration levels have to be at their peak right now, because the rain's starting to come down. This can cause mistakes as Paul Jones looks to the outside. He's going to have to brake that little bit later. They make contact. Chuckle still staying in the lead. He gets back past again as we go through the 2nd and 3rd corner of Les Combes, as we go down into Brussels at turn 7 into No Name Corner, turn 8, sorry, into No Name Corner, turn 9, and now we run down the hill towards Pouhon. The rain just starting to fall. We probably wouldn't have got this rain if we hadn't had the 2 safety cars. Well, that's pretty much for sure. If we hadn't had the second one, it would have ended by now. Yeah, so 1 and a 3rd lap to go now, as we're about to go into the 3rd sector of the lap. As I said, really it's between the top 2, but the other ones are going to be fighting as hard as they can, switching positions to try and get more of a gap. Is Pippo Kennedy getting closer and closer to Racing Matt. Still looking good for Danny. He could move up a quite a few places here as we go on to the final lap. The rain coming down. Doesn't look like it's going to be too much of a problem for the drivers. They're on the soft tyre, on the best tyre they can possibly be. Paul Jones getting as close as he possibly could have been to the back of Chuckle. This is important now for Paul Jones and for Matthew Is he going to try and get involved in this? He's not in the fight for the leads. Is he going to lead these two to fight it out? Paul Jones going around the outside. This is a drag towards Les Combes. Chuckle looking up the inside. Matthew looking up the inside of Chuckle himself. Oh, Matthew getting onto the curb. It's getting a bit treacherous, a bit wet. Paul Jones now into the lead on the final lap, but it's certainly not over. We've got to wait till the bus stop chicane, mainly because that's really the next best place to make a move into the final two corners. So Chuckle will be just waiting for that moment to try and get it back, but of course they've got to keep it on the straight and narrow now, more than any time in the race, with the rain being the way it is. Racing Matt now falling down the order. He's done so well, but it's not over until the checkered flag is out. I know that more than anyone this week from retiring on the penultimate lap, as Chuckle had a bit of a snap when he got onto the power. And as we go down towards the bus stop chicane, rain getting heavier. Probably he would have got time for the intermediates, but it's not looking like it's going to be the case as we go down into the bus stop for the final time. Is Danny going to go for it here? No. Paul Jones is going to win the first race, his first race of the season, wins in round 2. Chuckle comes home in second. Danny gets on the podium in third. Not getting time penalties here can be crucial. Danny gets the podium. Matthew drops down to 4th. Clicks Gamer is 5th. 6th is Bugatti Sloven. How many places? He got it yesterday. I think it's 2 in a week. Danny is my driver of the day this evening. I think the game's going to give it to him as well. After that performance, yeah, a bit of luck. But on the other hand, skill as well, because he kept it within track limits. Danny is our driver of the day for the second day in the row. Fair play to him. So here is the final order after this mixed conditions race. It was really another good race for different reasons as well. So a fantastic week 2. The highlights video should be really, really good. Paul Jones wins the first race of the season. Chuckle comes home in second and gets the fastest lap. Danny finishes 3rd. 4th is Matthew. Coit's Gamer was 5th. 6th is Bugatti. Pippa Kennedy is 7th. 8th is Kieran. Taylor Danny is 9th. The Pretender is 10th. 11th is Royal Rumble. RTG Lee is 12th. 13th is Looney Man. Racing Matt is 14th. Permboden is 15th. 16th is Prof. Prodigy is 17th. 18th was Chuckle. Prodigy was first to DNF. Chuck was 18th. 19th was Matty Jones. And Alfie was the first driver to actually DNF. So thanks very much. We'll obviously stick around for the podium interviews. I'm sure we'll get the guys in. I'm sure Danny's thrilled to be getting on the podium. Obviously, just not getting a time penalty. Obviously, it's just one of those parts of the race, that parts of your racing, shall I say, that is really a thing to get tuned in, not to get time penalties, that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll come out of this. I think that has now happened. Yeah, so we're getting into the gallery, and so we're just starting to get our drivers in for their interviews. Well, Paul, congratulations, mate. You've had a very good start to your season, and obviously, I believe you finished second last week. Was that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, getting the top result this week, making it one step higher. from my point of view, it was a really good race all round, really. But with the mixed conditions towards the end, that must have started to feel a bit of getting right on the edge towards the end.
Yeah, the tyres were. I mean, to be fair, I said to the lads on the chat, the mediums felt better in the softs, even at the start of the stint on the softs. But I mean, I think most were used. I know Chuckles were, I know mine were. But yeah, at the end, it did get a lot of the rear, I think, going into the bus stop. And I see Matthew and Chuckle like bombing right behind me, so I did panic a bit. But yeah, it was tricky towards the end.
Yeah, it must have been. It was tricky at the start as well. Were you so much going on? It's hard to remember. Were you a driver that pit on the first lap of pit stops at the start of the race from intermediates to slicks, or did you pit on the second lap?
I was at the second one, I think. It wasn't the first. Definitely wasn't the first. I don't think. I can't remember. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I
no,
came in when Chuckle came in. I think everyone came in at the same time. Most people did. I think only
yeah, there was
maybe
a
one
lot
or
of
two stayed
people.
out.
It looked, from my perspective, the track just dried so ridiculously quick. It's one thing about the game I don't actually like all that much. It dries far too fast.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, go on.
No, go on, go on.
No, he was just saying about the drying. Like everyone said the same on the chat, and the only reason why I pit was because they enabled the RS, and I thought it's going to dry
Yeah,
quick. And
yeah,
then
yeah.
as soon as I seen that, I was like, right, I'm coming in.
Yeah, no, it was. But obviously we'll speak to Shuckle in a minute. But you two, like, after that first safety car, you were just stuck together like magnets. Like the whole rest of the race, really, just switching on. I think it was pretty much every other lap you were switching the lead at least. I
Yeah,
think.
I mean, it was. I wouldn't say it was intentional, but I think we both knew what we were doing. We were both sort of using each other to sort of DRS, well, get the DRS to sort of hopefully get the gap on the guys behind, and it's a then it's a 2 horse race. But yeah, I know. Obviously, the safety car sort of threw a bit of a spanner in the works at the end. So, but yeah, it was like I say, I said to Chuck at the end, it was like good racing from both, and yeah, I was going to say the win like.
So congrats again. I think after this race, you're going to be leading the championship. I believe by looking at obviously if the standings from now obviously stay to when they actually get posted, you should be leading the championship next week. So next week, Canada. How do you feel about Canada?
Um,
A track you
I,
like or?
I do like the track. It's just very hard to not get penalties around there because of the chicanes. So it's a good track. I do like it, but yeah, it's going to be quite hard to. I think a lot of people are going to get penalties there next week.
Yeah, and a lot of people hitting the walls as well. I can imagine as well.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks very much, mate. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Cheers, man.
No worries. Chuckle, commiserations, mate. Obviously, um, very, very close between the two of you, but obviously, you probably being in the lead at the on the last lap kind of hindered your chances somewhat, I guess.
I am happy to take second in end. To be fair, that last safety car, when we all pitted for softs, I decided I'm going to bite first. 'Cause I thought I could hold enough battery to last the last DRS zone, but unfortunately not. And like Paul was saying just a minute ago, us drivers, we say that we don't work together, but we do.
Yeah,
And we knew what we were doing, and I knew it'd come down to the last 5 laps, and then we'd cut the teamwork and then go for it. And that's pretty much what happened. Hats off to Paul, some quality racing in there, to be fair, tonight.
yeah, it certainly was the two of you, and obviously the other thing, which is something that I'm not sure if we're going to get Danny in or not, but not getting yourself a time penalty as well was crucial because just the other guys, if it had been, like Bahrain, there wasn't very many penalties at the start of the week. If it had been a bit like that, then you two would probably have had a bit more pressure. But the fact that so many of them behind you had time penalties just takes the edge off, and that's just what's so important.
I think it was Coix that were behind us at one point with no penalties on same tyre as us. I was keeping my eye on him, but as soon as he got a penalty, it just took pressure off and I could just focus on Paul.
Yeah, we're either actually back to Paul, as well. Were either of you on warnings that race, or was it getting close? Or
I got one. Yeah,
I
got
think
one.
I was on one. I think I was only on the one. I'd have to double check, but yeah, I don't think I got another one.
okay, because that's what I was saying in commentating in the last bit. Like it's sort of the race for the win is now between you two, unless you get penalties, because of course everyone else behind would have lit up on again.
Yeah, that's the problem with penalties though, and the safety car. Sometimes, like I think Coix had a 3 second, and there was a gap between us three and the guys behind, and then obviously when you got the penalty and the safety car come out at the end, it's just absolutely ruins it for him.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
unfortunately, that's why sometimes you have to keep it clean.
yeah.
It's
Definitely.
so close between every driver that running wide once can cost you
Yeah.
4 positions at end. It's
Well. Thursday, I really think there could be sort of 5 of you up for this championship, really, especially with like the performance of some drivers last season.
this season won't be for me. I think my run's going to come to an end. I'm off on holiday. in November.
Oh, how long are you going for? A
I'm gonna
week or
miss
2 weeks?
races, 2
Oh,
weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Where are you off to?
Spain, Fuerteventura.
Nicer
I'm actually
weather
away
than
as
here.
well. But
How
Oh,
many
okay.
races?
I think I mean, obviously, what happened the other day with me thingy connection going on me rig didn't help on Mondays anyway. So I think it's only the Monday race I'm going to miss. I think I'm back on the Thursday
Oh, that's
Oh,
lucky
okay.
then.
for the last race. I think when did we go? 27th of November we go, and I'm sure the last race is on the Thursday. Because I was looking to see if I missed any, and obviously I missed the Monday because I'm away on Monday. But I'm sure I'm back on that Thursday.
Right.
I'd have to double
okay.
check, but
But
might
of
be
course,
close.
that's another thing about league racing anyway, isn't it? Like, you never know how many races, like, Coix is going to have off, or Matthew. Like, you never know. It does balance out in the end. It depends how often you're away. So, Canada next week, how are you feeling about that one, Chuckle?
I don't mind Canada, to be fair. Last time I was here on this game, I put it on pole. I think I got a podium, so
I'm sure. Do you
forward
remember
to
what
Canada
season
next
that
week.
was? Give me a hand. What season was that?
It was last season,
Oh,
beginning
okay.
of last season.
Was it Wednesday or Thursday? Or Monday, actually?
I
Could have been.
couldn't tell you.
Okay. Yeah, they all kind of get mixed up in my head as well, muddled into one.
I'm going to find your stream and do some homework.
Yeah. Me too.
like a
See what
Premier
I
League
did right.
goalkeepers on penalties.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you again next week.
We will.
We'll see you guys next week. We'll see Marcus next week on
Yep.
Monday for Abu Dhabi. Hopefully, I can survive the race and not crash out with a lap to go. But that was partly on me. Anyway, we'll see you next week with Short Marcus. Keep your eye out this weekend for the highlights of the week from this week. I don't know how I'm going to choose that. That's going to be the most difficult one to cut things out of this one this weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for the overtakes of the month. It will also be out this weekend as well. Obviously from last month. Anyway, till next week with Short Marcus. We'll see you next time.